Hey friends, Rob Phoenix, Powwow guy here. Hope you're all doing well. It's Monday, September 8th. Yesterday was the full moon in Pisces, the lunar eclipse. I didn't see any of it. I didn't even try. I just kind of went to bed early, I guess. But that's okay. I had to take the day off of work because I had some family stuff to do, like some appointments and such. And I also spent a little more time out in the garden and then also in the greenhouse. The garden's at a weird state right now because like it's a really good time of year for wildflowers to come up, like wildflowers that I intentionally planted. Um, and that being said, fall is also the best time to plant wildflower seeds. So I'll plant them in October before the first frost. I don't know. Sometimes we don't get a frost until December or January anymore. You just don't know. But anyway, and the garden has all the like herbs are really good to grow in your greenhouse in the fall. Because they're tolerant to cooler temperatures at night and they like that warmth during the day. Now, today the greenhouse was up to like 106 degrees at the zenith of the sun. It was like 70 something outside the greenhouse and 100 and something inside. That's enough for the herbs. So everything's seed right now. I planted several more things yesterday. I planted like 50 and I planted a few more today. So yeah, just have a garden full of herbs, for the fall and early winter. So that's that. And um, I had water because we haven't had much rain lately. They say though, and I found this to be true this year, the tomatoes, it's better to not water them. It's better for the tomatoes to have to like struggle for water because it forces their roots to go deeper and deeper into the soil to find water and thus makes the plants stronger and then they yield more tomato. Um, and we've had more tomatoes this year than we know what to do with. And they're definitely the best tasting tomatoes we ever had. But I put our vegetables in a different spot. We're no longer using the vegetable garden that we used for several years. I made a new vegetable garden. So anyway, that's garden talk. I have wildflowers going. It still looks really pretty out there. And it's kind of cool with the leaves coming down. I cleaned up a lot of dead leaves today and such, but yeah, so it was a really pleasant day to be off of work, take care of some stuff I needed to take care of. And that's that. I'm so far behind on my spooktacular Halloween spooktacular video. I need to devote some time to that. And I'm also working on a D&D campaign. I don't know if anybody here plays D&D, um, just for me and Bill and Joe Sani, but I recently discovered there's like a D&D place that's based off of New Orleans. And so I went through like all my action figures. Like I have, like every time we play D&D, I like to have an action figure to represent the characters that I have in the adventure because I'm always the dungeon master. So it's nice to have those visuals. So I take my old action figures or I buy new ones, I repaint them and whatever to be characters. So I bought either Brother Voodoo, Dr. Voodoo, Papa Voodoo, a Marvel comic character. Um, I bought that figure. I got rid of his cape and I'm going to repaint him to be kind of like the D&D version of Papa Legba. And then I know I'm geeking out and this, I'm so sorry. This is Storm, the X-Men Storm when she was a vampire. She was turned to a vampire by Dracula in one storyline many, 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 many years ago, but it's a fantastic figure. So I'm going to use her and paint her up and change her up a bit to be the Dungeons and Dragons version of Marie Laveau. Um, I admit that most of my knowledge of these characters comes from the show American Horror Story, the season called Coven, because that was so awesome and the characters were just so cool. So anyway, the that's what I'm working on. So, because I just have so much time. And I just told a friend that Josani has algebra this year because he's in high school. So that means I have algebra this year. So him and we've been spending like an hour a day, even on the weekends, just kind of studying and practicing equations and like trying to reinforce what he's learning because he's so worried about it. But, I'm really proud of him because he knows so much more than he's given himself credit for. And as an accountant, like I had to take algebra and do all this stuff. When you take college accounting, you're doing algebra, and whether you like it or not, you're calculating volume and weight and the square root of n or whatever. So I slogged through all that to pass the test, but I'm surprised at how much I retained. So I feel really good about it. And just for fun, he like flipped to the back of his textbook and he's like, let's do a really hard equation that we don't know about. And he picked one, and the two of us together figured it out. So it's fun. So I get to hang out with him, little extra, some father-son time, which is really nice. And I'm excited to see him learning. And I'm learning algebra. Just FYI, if you're mathematically inclined, which that's one thing I am mathematically inclined, nothing else, but math is my thing. That's why I'm an accountant. In accounting, you don't use algebra, and you never have to calculate the volume of something. It's just addition and subtraction. Anyway, uh, in other news, so yeah, we talked about the greenhouse and the herbs. This is a really good time to plant your herbs. And also, if you have a greenhouse, like I can't tell you what a blessing it is. Again, I haven't even had it for a full year, so it's all experimentation at this point. But I've learned that I can grow um, leafy green vegetables like your lettuces and spinach, and then also your root vegetables. I can start them in the greenhouse. I don't know how that works though. Like, I don't know if I could grow them to completion in the greenhouse because I'd have to get really deep pots to grow like carrots, I guess. Um, but they're very cold tolerant. So I might try some vegetables. I don't know because today um, I took the dogs out around like 5:30 or 6 o'clock or something p.m. and a black cat came running out of the greenhouse because I had the door open. Um, yeah, this cat just comes running out of the greenhouse. So I looked in there. I'm not sure what he was doing in there. I don't see anything disrupted or whatever. The dogs went crazy. So yeah, I said it was just in time for Halloween. Black cat visiting my greenhouse. Um, anyway, I am subscribed to many different kinds of folk magic YouTube channels, and one that I'm subscribed to is called the Grumpy Witch. Wait, the Grumpy Crone, I think, the Grumpy Old Crone, something like that. And she's an English woman. She's somewhere in England, I guess. And she just kind of like, she's just a witch. She identifies as a witch and a pagan. And she just kind of like, I don't want to say complains because that's kind of her whole shtick is that she's this grumpy old crone that just wants to like complain for 30 minutes. But she's very funny and she seems like a super lovely person. So I really enjoy watching her videos. And she has chickens, which I like. And she calls her husband Mr. Grumpy Old Crone. So I just thought that was funny. But what's really funny is that she's embracing like her crone ness, I guess. But like her and I are the same age. Um, so I just think that's cool. So anyway, she today, well, I guess she made the video over the weekend and it was posted yesterday. I didn't see it until today. And she was saying how she's redoing her um, protective wards around her house. And I'm always interested in that. So I thought that was cool. Well, what was really cool is that she does it on the doors, her back door and her front door. And her ritual is to scrub the door, like wash it clean, really good. The door, I guess, on the inside and out, and the glass, if there is any glass, and then add her like a chalk drawing kind of right on the door itself. But I really like that idea of washing the doors. Like, I don't know, just something that part of it really spoke to me on some level. And I really like that. That's very folksy. That's very like folk magic, just folk cool. Um, so yeah, she washed the doors and then she did her enchantment, I guess it could say on it. So I really like that idea, and I may incorporate that because then after I saw that, I was taking a look at my own back door and I could see where Josani keeps kicking it in. Not only is the door getting dented because it's like a metal kind of door, um, but there's like sneaker prints all on the outside of it. So I really, and then on the inside, you can see where Sophie jumps up at the door, like to see out the window. So there's like dog scratch marks all down it, and it's just like dirty from her. So I really need to wash my doors. That's really the moral of this video. But I like that. So if you have not heard of her, yeah, it's Grumpy Old Crone, and she's just this English witch. And her videos are fun. They're lovely. She makes fun of stuff. She makes fun of herself. She's not pretentious in any way, shape, or form, but she's very cool. And it's really just like down to earth kind of tips if you're a quote unquote folk magic person. And again, she's coming at it from a like gods and goddesses and like a Wicca kind of perspective, I guess, but still cool stuff. But which brings me to the final thing I wanted to talk about. I have many friends that are many different things. So I was having a conversation the other day, and with a friend of mine. She self-identifies as a folk witch, not a folk witch. That's my term for her, just as a witch, a non-denominational whatever witch. And she's not part of any kind of like witchcraft cult or tradition. Um, she's not even sure what her religious beliefs are. Like she's kind of borderline Christian, but more like a animist, I guess. So anyway, um, she just doesn't like to overthink it, and she just does what she considers to be witchcraft. So the other day she started talking about this, and I couldn't talk anymore. So today the conversation wrapped up. Um, she was saying how one of her favorite things to do when she leaves her house every day is to do a spell so she gets all green lights, like traffic lights, that they're all green for her. And so me being the pot stirrer that I am, I said, well, so what are you exactly magicking? Are you magicking the electronics that govern the lights themselves? Because all stoplights are on a combination of sensors and timers, and those change throughout the day. The timing changes based on periods of high traffic and low traffic, and the sensor will tell you if so many seconds passed without a car driving over. Um, the light will then change. Then throw in the additional factor of those buttons that people press a million times for the walk signal. Um, and it's my understanding that they only affect, like, they take into consideration the sensors, the time of day, and um, the timer itself. So it might reduce the natural, like, if the light's going to stay green for 18 seconds. Well, as long as there is no pressure for a certain amount of seconds during a certain hour of the day, then the timer will reduce that by maybe 1 second to make you get your walk signal and you feel like that button does something. It does, but very little. Anyway, that's my understanding of it. It could be way off. It could be different everywhere. So, but my question was, are you doing magic to affect the electronics that work these things for every light between here and your destination? Or are you doing magic to affect thousands of people and their minds and the routes they want to take that day? Um, or are you just doing magic to when your car is coming, the light just turns green and thus causing car pileups and death and destruction all around you? And she was like, why do you have to overthink it? And I'm like, because it has consequences. I mean, everything we do in life has consequences. The words we say, the messages we send, the magic we do. Sorry, sitting on the floor, very uncomfortable. Um, and so if we're just like throwing magic out there to like, I want the entire world from here to, Target to bend to my will and be completely at my convenience. Well, what does that do to everything else? And so I'm like, that's tremendous amount of power you're wielding if you can just do that. I said, or are you magicking yourself so that you plan your leave time and your vehicle speed to be so in sync and perfectly timed, taking into account all the activity of the world around you. And so it's like this mathematical perfection so that the light is always green when you go through. And so she said I was impossible to talk to. And like it was a friendly, I'm impossible to talk to, but I could tell um she was struggling to find an answer. Maybe there isn't one. Maybe it's just it makes me feel good, so I do this. And it seems like it works for me. And that's okay too. I was just really curious about that because at one point the other day when the conversation started, she was like, "How do you not know the most basic spells like green light changing?" And I'm like, "Well, that's not the point of a hexameister. You know, we're not out there just like magicking stuff. That's just not what we are. As a hexameister, we're there to help people, and we can make talismans for them and work for them. But all of our stuff is done with the intention of helping somebody else, um, or stopping somebody else from harming another person, place, or thing. But yeah, it's just not what we do to go out and like magic traffic lights, within a 15-mile radius, thus causing pandemonium and death in destruction on our entire path and travel from home to work. um, anyway, there's a really extreme kind of like deep dive into such a thing, but still fun and hilarious to talk about. But that's really it. So it was a pretty good day. It was very nice weather. It was just really lovely, like fall day. There was a little breeze. It was really nice. I've got to get working on that Halloween spooktacular. I just feel very busy lately, and I thought having today off to take care of some things, family related stuff, would like really free up a lot of space and time. It did not because Josana ended up having two appointments back to back, and then we had dinner, and then we did his homework for over an hour. And now I had to get a quick shower, and now I'm up here, and it's like I just can't get it all done sometimes, and that's okay. Grumpy old crone. So I guess I'm a grumpy old crone. Well, no, I guess I'm a grumpy old sage. I don't know. I don't like that word. Just because I don't like the smell of burning sage. So I don't ever want to be called that. Um, that's it. I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope you all survived the full moon. I mean, I guess it was fine. Uh, we'll talk again really soon. God bless you guys. Love you all very much. Have a great week.